Let's try that again.
You know that would come out on the tape, right?
That's
There's no
definitely
way
gonna
you're
get
getting
picked
that
up.
out of
Yeah.
Jeez. Keep that for your late night weird stuff, will ya?
Okay, let's try that again.
Hello, world, and welcome to the Wolf's Den today. Today we have a few members from Hello, world, and welcome to the Wolf's Den today. Today we've got a couple members from Dali Van Gogh in the studio with us. We've got Isaac Kent and Rochelle Moreau. How are you guys today?
We're doing good. Yeah. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and you didn't blow away. And
Didn't blow away in the rain and the wind and the probably sleet.
Oh my!
It's a lovely, beautiful Nova Scotian day.
Yeah, welcome to Nova Scotia. If you don't like the weather, wait 20 minutes because it's gonna change.
Yeah.
So, guys, I've been looking a little bit at your bio and stuff. Now, there's more members to the band. They're not here today. Some are in school and some are working. But looking at the bio, you guys have been around since 2010.
Well, earlier than that, even. I think I founded the band late 2008, early 2009 initially. 2010 was our first real release and when we kind of got the ball rolling. Funny enough, Rochelle was in kind of the precursor band to all this. In like 2000, was it 2007?
Yeah.
2007, a band called, I put that in large quotation marks.
Yeah.
Called 8 Days of Saturday that kind of eventually evolved into Dali Van Gogh. And Rochelle went to school to study music, and then we just reconnected recently and she rejoined the band. So it's kind of cool. Things come full circle.
So now is the basic core of the band the same guys from like say 2010, 2011, or has it evolved over time?
No, it's I'm the only remaining original member if you want to go that route and calling it that. The band's changed a lot over the years. I mean, funny enough, I've always wanted to put out a record call it Life Gets in the Way. Well, because it's the truth, right? Everyone's got real lives and we've all got to work and do the day job thing and all that kind of thing. So No, the band's gone through a lot of lineup changes over the years. Most recently, the kind of the comeback band, so to speak, after the house fire that kind of destroyed our studio and put the
is
band
that
on.
right?
Yeah. 2015, my home and recording studio burned down. And kind of put us on hiatus for a few years there.
Wow, brother, sorry to hear that.
No, it's okay. I mean, I'm here
well,
now. Made it through all that. So that's where the previous record, From Ashes, came from. That's kind of where the name came from and everything. So there's 3 members remaining from that record's lineup. That's myself, our vocalist John Scotto, and bassist Cyrus Robertson Orkish. And then most recently we picked up Rochelle on keys. And a little prodigy boy named Johnny Moore. Johnny, giving you a shout out this time, so you can't tell me that I didn't do it. No, Johnny's been he's the youngest member of the band now, or is Cyrus still younger than him?
I think
Cyrus might still be younger than him. Okay, in any case,
he's 22.
And he joined the band in September.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, you don't sound like you got members that just joined in September, because, dude, you guys are tight.
Well, thank you very much. We work really hard behind the scenes.
You know, one of the things that I kept writing down when I was listening to the CD was harmonies. Girl, you got some pipes, I'm telling
thank you.
You know, when you hear somebody for the first time, you never really know exactly what you're going to get, right? And so when Jim told me that we were going to be talking to you guys, it was funny because I had just watched a video of yours a couple of days before, and I thought, wow, like these guys are really, really good.
Well, thank you very much.
I love the depth of your music. To me, and Jim and I have talked about it's old rock and roll.
It's we've the sound is again talking about 10 years, and we're celebrating 10 years this year. The sound's evolved a lot over the years. We started off, I mean, our first little kind of demo disc was almost thrash, like thrash metal. Like it sounded somewhat in the vein of like a Justice for All Metallica, and then over the years it's evolved. This most recent record's kind of like a blues rock, party rock kind of fun album. Couple of fantastic, or I'd like to think are fantastic ballads. On there.
You know what? And you took the words right out of my mouth, because I said, I was amazed. I thought, I'm listening to this song, and all of a sudden, when it starts, it's slow, and it's mellow, and I'm thinking, a ballad, right?
We've got a couple of them on this record.
Then a couple of songs more down the line, bang, another ballad.
Both the ballads on this record, Outlaw's Son and Long Way from Heaven.
Long Way from Heaven,
they were written by our vocalist John Scotto earlier, or I guess late last year for Outlaw's Son, and earlier this year during the recording process for Long Way. I think my favorite one of the two of them is Long Way from Heaven for sure. That's a duet between John and Rochelle here. That kind of I don't know. It touches my heart a little bit. We've decided with that song to partner up with a charity called Wounded Warriors Canada. They provide support services and housing and homes and things for veterans who've come back from like Afghanistan or any war zone, and they do a lot of focus on like helping people with their mental health and PTSD and all these kinds of things. So what we've decided to do is a portion of proceeds from Long Way from Heaven, as well as a portion of proceeds from the actual album, and then eventually a tour, which we can talk about later, will be going to that charity.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, good on you there. Anybody that listens to the Wolf's Den knows that mental health is my passion. I am very, very lucky to be alive. There was a point in time when I didn't want to be, and so
I think we all kind of go through that at some point in our lives.
I've walked the walk for many, many years, and I can say now that I'm feeling healthier than I have in a long time.
Good.
But I thank you for that, and if there's anything the Wolf's Den can do to help you with that, you just let us know.
We'll be in touch. We're working on a whole bunch of different avenues to go down to kind of help with that charity. So
excellent. Well, I think Isaac, I think you nailed it. None of us get out of this world without some kind of a little ping to the head, and to the mind. And we look at people all the time and we think, oh, they're so cool and they're so together. And inside, they're just like a mouse in a cage, too. So, I mean, it affects us all. And it's time that we talk about it, and that's fantastic. Now, your new CD is called Under Her Spell.
Yes.
And it's 12 cuts. Now, I was a little bit taken back when I got to number 12, and I looked at the time.
Yes.
8 minutes. There goes the show.
Yes. No. So, that's a song called Ships in the Night, written by our bassist, Cyrus. It's kind of an 8-minute epic. Our ode to, like, I don't know, some of those, there's some giant, 8, 9, 10-minute songs from the 80s and stuff. Comes to mind, there's a couple of Meatloaf tunes out there.
Yeah.
Big epic, kind of power ballads. I don't know if you call this one a power ballad. It opens up very kind of melancholy and melodic, bolstered by harmonies from Rochelle.
My notes, harmonies.
Yeah, the harmony. I mean, harmonies are a huge part of everything that we do, which again is part of why I was so excited to get Rochelle in here, because she's kind of the queen of this stuff, and she really added a lot to round out the record in the end. Because Rochelle didn't join. You joined pretty well. We were almost done recording the album.
January.
Yeah. She joined in January. So and we were mixing the album in March. So she jumped in head first and I threw her to the wolves a little bit. But
I think the wolves took a beating.
Yeah, a little bit, potentially. But I think it turned out well. Anyways, Ships of the Night's a. It's another song's talking about war and trauma, and it's our ode to those mega kind of ballads. I always go to ballads because most of those songs are these kind of epic power ballads, and this is kind of like that. But I think really for the listeners out there, if you want to get an idea of what we're talking about, go listen to the song.
Exactly. Go listen to the whole CD.
Right.
Just
exactly.
Don't stop at that song, please. You know what? We're talking about this, so why don't we take a little break right here, ladies and gentlemen, on the Wolf's Den, and let's go listen to a couple of songs off of Under Her Spell from Dali Van Gogh right here in the Wolf's Den on CIOE 97.5, the home of East Coast music, and also on Hidden Gems Broadcasting.
Like a little rag doll. All the fellas trying you to listen to the cat call. I'm feeling kinda drunk, so you make me wanna stay. Spilling deep inside and ain't going away. You wanna compromise, but baby you could have it all. Feeling like a bitch, but you're trying to keep your cool on. Your legs are feeling silly, but you're trying to get your groove on. I know you got the rhythm, but you gotta get the groove. Hey, pretty girl, you got nothing to lose. You wanna compromise, but baby, you could have it all. Well, don't you realize that, baby, you could have it all. coming down, everybody's going home. I can tell you she's afraid that you cannot be alone. Shake it by the hand, girl, it's gonna be alright. You've been sleeping in, this will be up all night. You wanna compromise, but baby, we could have it all.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the studio today with Dali Van Gogh, and we're talking about their new CD, Under Her Spell, and we're going to talk a little bit now about how some of this all came about. So, Isaac, we were just talking there, and how does this all come about for you guys? Like now, I asked you how many CDs you have.
Yeah, so it's a very interesting question. So I've been lucky enough to kind of produce all of the albums and various EPs and things like that for the band over the years, with one exception, which I'll get to in a minute. It's to me, we've got 6 albums.
Okay.
We have a demo disc that went out in late 2009, probably, called White Noise, that had an early rendition of one of our big songs, Heavy Living, on it. We then put out Verbal Warning, which was like our primary demo, like actual demo disc. We sold a bunch of copies of that. That was kind of when we started really figuring out kind of where we wanted to go with Dali. After that, we put out what's kind of a double EP that was originally recorded as a full-length album and then kind of split up. We have Mask Identity, which was a digital-only EP, and then we had Wild Blue City, which was one of our big breakthrough albums in the States. Then, fast forward to After the Fire, we put out From Ashes and now Under Her Spell. So that's the 6. There's also some recordings kicking around on the internet from a little kind of EP demo thing that we did called Sex and Suicide, that we recorded with Kramer White as one of his final projects at NSCC. He was in the Recording Arts program. Kramer's now playing with Reverse Grip and is on tour with I think Venom or someone like that in Europe. It's crazy now how things go. You just get picked up and off you go. So if you include that, for me, then there's almost 7 records. But the ones that the public would have gotten their hands on, for the most part, are Verbal Warning, Wild Blue City, From Ashes, and Under Her Spell.
Wow. So now, I'm hearing a lot about NSCC in
Yes.
this conversation, and I got to send out a big shout out to NSCC, the waterfront campus over there in Dartmouth. They're turning out some amazing people in this music industry.
Well, Rochelle's here is one of them.
You know.
You can talk a little bit about the kind of the program you did there.
Yeah, I graduated in 2011, and there's some pretty big artists that I worked with. I know Jessie Brown graduated with me, and she's just
Glowing up.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't even talk about her talent. It's just too mind-blowing. Yeah, she did really good. I also went to school with Roxy and Ian, who are in Roxy and the Underground Soul Sound.
Yes.
Some members of Bloody
Bloody
Diamonds,
Diamonds,
who are
that's
in
what I was gonna
Toronto.
But now, was Will Hansen going that year as well?
He wasn't there when I was there. He went a couple years after I did.
Okay, and Ryan Williger was there as well, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where
There's
that-
a huge portion of our musical community. It's certainly the active musical community who came out of that program.
You know what I mean? And this is a message to the government. You see, music in school really does work.
It makes a difference.
It makes a huge difference.
Now we just got to convince them to roll that further and further back. Because it's great to have it at the college level, which is awesome. But in order to get there, you almost have to have you have to have gone through your regular school program. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of places for guitar players and even keyboard players, really.
Well, that was my only option in town if I wanted to do vocal major that
Right.
wasn't opera.
Yeah, exactly.
Or going out to Humber in Toronto, which I didn't want to, leave home yet. So
Right.
that
Yeah,
was
exactly.
my only option, and I got lucky because it was a new program. I was the third year that started there. I'd only been there for 2 years before I was. So, they were still working out the kinks and stuff while I was in it, but
Well,
I recommend it.
Yeah, it takes time, but some of those kinks that they haven't worked out yet have produced some pretty good music.
Yeah.
Well, that's the
Oh,
thing,
yeah.
right? You can call it kinks, but creative programs are always going to have little kind of hiccups and things like that, and often that produces some of the best stuff. It's the same with songwriting, which we were talking about earlier. Some of the best stuff you ever come up with are totally mistakes. There's a line in the first part of Arms Race on this new album where Cyrus, which I didn't even know, I thought this was the actual lyrics, where early on Cyrus says something about breathing snacks that barely constitute food. Now, the context for that is that the song takes place like post-apocalyptic, so it's sort of post-nuclear war. So when I heard that, I was like, breathing snacks, holy smoke. So it's, food's gone, we're now breathing our nutrients and stuff, right? And as it turns out, that was a total mistake. He just left it because he thought it sounded good. It was supposed to be eating snacks, and he just left it as breathing. Which to me, in a lot of ways, made the song. Like, it really took me straight into where his headspace was.
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because, everybody that listens to a song can get a different interpretation.
Absolutely.
Of it, I mean, you may think the song is about one thing, and it's about something else. I just read the other day that Hey, Hey, Ordinary Day by Alan Doyle and Great Big Sea.
Yep.
There's a verse in it about talking about a girl named Janie that's a busker that gets punched and robbed by this guy, and she just gets back up and starts playing.
Yep.
Well, Janie is Jan Arden.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
I did not put those pieces together.
No,
That's
never-
really cool. So is that an actual story
Yeah,
from
that's
her
an
life?
act- that's
no
an act-
way.
Yeah, I read that the other
Yeah.
day, and actually, she didn't write it, but
Right.
She didn't write about it, but somebody did. I was reading something.
Very
I like
cool.
Alan Doyle, and
Yeah.
I seen that, and I read it, and I thought, wow.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really neat. Well, that's the thing. It's funny because often in interviews and these kinds of conversations, we get asked, what's this song about? What's that song about? What do people hope you get from your music? And my usual response is, I just hope you get something. It doesn't need to be, what I wrote the song about doesn't need to be what you're hearing. It doesn't need to be what you take from the piece of music at all. At least for me, and Rochelle can speak for herself. I just really hope that our music touches you in some sort of way. And hopefully enough that you'll want to come out and experience it live and come have some fun with us and enjoy the actual show. Because for me, as much as I love recording and listening to music and stuff, and we're living in an age where we're lucky enough to be able to everyone's got 10,000 songs on their phone, etc.
Yeah.
I still very much believe in live music and certainly enjoy performing much more than just kind of recording and stuff.
And we're all about. That's my whole world is
Right.
live music.
With the festival background and stuff. Yeah, exactly.
I like the rawness of it. I like there's no going back.
No, that's it. If there's a mistake, you're going to roll with it. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes you end up, again, there's situations where bands, even in sound checks and things, will just be noodling on something that turns into a huge hit. American Woman by the Guess Who.
Yeah.
Written in sound check. Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden. Written in sound check.
Yeah.
So you never know where kind of this stuff is going to come from. And that's why live music and performance and everything is so special.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the thing is, when we see you live, it's like when HDTV came out, we finally found out that people really did have pimples on their face.
Right. Yeah, no one knew. Right.
Yeah, and and now basically when you go to a live show, we're seeing the pimples.
Yep. Yeah,
it's fantastic.
With some of these HD cameras, you can see you see right down into their pores. It's insane.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. The rawness and the realness of it is hard to. You can't, you can work on it, but you can't really capture it the way you want in a studio.
No.
And in the genre of music that we play with rock and roll and stuff, that's especially prevalent.
Yeah.
Rock is meant to be experienced live. It's meant to, have that visceral feeling and the energy in the room, and everyone's, when one of the best examples of it is Freddie Mercury, which, funny enough, with this movie that just came out.
Yeah.
And what was the actor's name? Who played him?
I can't remember.
Okay. Anyways, he won the Oscar for Best Actor for that role, which is amazing. And he captured it somewhat, but it's still not the same as actually, as I'm sure what it was like for Freddie Mercury to walk out on the stage, stand in the middle of the stage and go, "Hey up," right? Yeah. And the whole 100,000 people go, right?
Yeah.
It's there's something very special about that. And so for anyone out there listening who's hearing us around, hopefully around the world, but certainly around HRM and stuff, come if you're enjoying the music and you're enjoying the songs and stuff, you got to come see them live. It's a whole other.
That's on
other
my
thing.
bucket list.
Yeah,
I want to see you guys live. Jim knows the story of me. Live music, the energy and the feeling. There's nothing like being in a room full of people who are grooving on the same vibe that you are. Right? Yep. All right, let's groove on a few tunes here, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to listen to more Dali Van Gogh off of their album Under Her Spell, right here on CIOE, home of East Coast music and Hidden Gems Broadcasting as well, in the Wolfstead.
Is that you?
No, that's you.
No, that's the alarm from that going off.
Oh. I'm drifting away from you. I'm feeling that I'm broken and I can't break through. I don't understand. It's not what I planned. Blinded by the scars that bleed me dry instead. Beside I lay and I'm so far away. I scream out all these feelings that I can't escape. Fell to my knees over the seas. Thought it ended there, but it came home with me. Didn't know the cost of what I lost. I tried to keep a brave face on, then it breaks and my strength is gone. You're better off without. You're better off without. Didn't mean to make your heart hurt. Try to fight, but it's getting worse. You're better off without. You're better off without. We're a long way from heaven. It's far too far from me. The one you loved left long ago, and all that came back was me.
I know your heart is strong. No one's strong enough to hold that pain alone. Just talk to me. Set yourself free. There's anguish in your eyes that ain't too hard to see. No words I say take your pain away. Deep inside my soul, you're staring back at me. You fought, you wrong to get back home. No way in hell you'll fight this thing alone. Please take my hand, let's make a stand. I try to keep a calm face on, but then it breaks and my strength is gone. I cannot live without you. Cannot live without you. Tired of living here with my heart hurt. Try to fight, but it's getting worse.
We're a long way from heaven. It's far too far from me. The one you loved left long ago, and all that came back was me.
Well, we're a long way from heaven. It's not too hard to see. The one I love still standing there. Please come home.
Welcome back to the Wolf's Den, ladies and gentlemen. We have Dali Van Gogh in the studio. We have Isaac Kent who plays guitar. We have Rochelle Moreau, and she plays keys and she sings. And we're missing Mr. John Scotto, Mr. Johnny Moore. John Scotto plays. He's a vocalist, and Johnny Moore is on the drum kit.
Yep.
Wicked solo. Video online, is that him?
Oh, yeah, that's Johnny.
Wow.
Yes, that's from the release show last weekend. Yeah.
Yes, and then we have Cyrus Robertson Orkish, and he plays bass, and he's not here with us today. Now, just while we were listening to a couple of tunes, we were talking, and the thing came up about, it doesn't have to be perfect
Right.
in the studio. Well, my friend, I'm going to tell you, you are an enigma, and you are very rare.
Okay.
Because most musicians I know are never, ever, ever happy.
Satisfied.
As soon as the mix is done and they hear it, they want to go back and change it.
Yeah, it happens all the time, and for me being a producer, that can get especially frustrating.
Yeah.
And again, even more so a producer in rock music, because rock music, again, we were talking about the whole live thing. It's not meant to be perfect. And funny enough, with this album, even compared to From Ashes, this is a much rawer album, even though a lot of people are saying that it sounds better than the last one. Well, maybe it does because we didn't fix everything. And it's very hard. Like I can tell you from a personal standpoint, it's very hard to kind of, draw that line and be like, okay, it's done. Now it is what it is. But you have to find a way to do that. And it might be, easier for me as a producer because I'm used to drawing that line for other artists. But I've never been one of those guys who's been super hot on like perfectionism, because if I listen to a perfect song, it just ends up sounding like the overproduced dribble that is everywhere else in the world right now, which isn't something that I'm drawn to personally.
You mean the 2
like,
minutes?
Like the box.
The 2 minutes and 36-second box with the with the formula inside.
Right, exactly. It doesn't work. Well, but you want to hear something funny? So, because people always say things like that. I don't have an issue with the formula. I don't have an issue with the box. I have an issue with only doing the formula in the box. So, for example, we've got a couple songs in here. Crooked Little Whore is super short.
Superman and MacGyver's
not very long. Right, we've got some of
Getaway
these.
is not
Getaway
that
is
long.
really short. Yeah, the two big ones were Getaway and Crooked Little Whore, which are both under 3 minutes.
Yep.
Which both conceivably follow the pattern or whatever, verse, chorus,
You're
chorus.
a couple of seconds off.
Right? Okay, well, I'm close. But the point. But on top of that, these are some of our fans' favorite songs to listen to.
Yeah.
Crooked Little Whore, everyone freaked out at the release show.
That's my favorite one to play.
Yeah. That's another one that Rochelle kind of like really brought to life, was especially the ending. So those are theoretically in the box, following the formula. It's not about specifically not doing those, because you can also get way the other way. I listen to some of these prog bands and stuff, and I like prog music, but some of these guys just end up in like just outer space somewhere that I would have to be so stoned to be able to listen to it, or certainly to be able to appreciate it at the level that some people do.
Yeah.
The issue is kind of forcing yourself into these situations, and the pretentiousness that kind of comes along with that. If you're writing a song and it comes out verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, great, then that's the song. If you're writing a song and then someone steps in, or even you step in and go, oh no, that doesn't fit the formula, that's where your problem comes up.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you're bending things to kind of sound a very specific way, you're likely hurting the creativeness of the tune. Now, there's limits in both directions on that. But I think the point that I'm trying to make is that especially, again, I'm a rock musician. I for the most part produce rock bands. Is that you have to be able to let these songs breathe and become what they're going to be, and often that's not going to be what you intended it to be, either from a recording standpoint or from where a chorus ends up, whatever. A good example of that on this album, Have It All, which is I don't know, number 8 or 9 on there. Or something
number
like
8.
That. Number 8. When that was written, the chorus was what is now the bridge, and they brought it in. Cyrus and at the time Devin Roberts, who was our keyboarder then when we were working on that song. That song's like 2 or 3 years old now, at least for us. It's brand new to everyone else. There was no chorus as there is now. And literally, I just heard it, and I was like, "Well, it's missing something. Let's put this chorus thing on it." And suddenly, boom, the song came together. Not at all what they had intended, because as far as they were concerned, they'd written the song. The song was done, ready to go. So you've got to, for those aspiring musicians and stuff out there who are getting into bands, or kids out there who hopefully are listening to this and think, hey, maybe I want to start a rock band or a country band or whatever. Let the songs kind of evolve into what they're going to be. If you don't do that, you won't end up with things like Ships in the Night, which, as long as it is, it's a showstopper whenever we play it, right?
Yeah.
And that we just kept adding some things to it, and
That went forever. That was a song I think all of us kind of at various points thought was going to be a dud, and we'd probably cut it. I know at one point you were like, this is kind of sounding like mush.
I didn't get it.
Yeah.
I just, until the finished product came
Right.
together finally, and I was like, oh, now I see what I'm
Yep.
doing. And
Yep. Well, and I mean, I got to tip my own hat on that one. I had an idea in my head of, and again, it wasn't what the song started off as, and it wasn't how we were recording it, but I knew where I wanted to get the song to. And so the number of times that song's got like well over 100 vocal tracks. It's outrageous. That song was blowing up my computer and recording software and everything as we were getting to the end of it. Like, it was I got to the point where I was like mixing it in like 6-second chunks.
Wow.
Because I couldn't lift, because beyond that, I'd get audio cutouts and all this kind of stuff, and people would go, "Wow, that's crazy." But if you listen to it, if I took any of that out of what's there, the song doesn't work.
Yeah.
Well, what are you laughing at?
I'm just laughing about, there was one part when you were mixing it, when I was adding my vocals to it, and we were trying to figure out, what is that noise?
Yes.
What is that crunchy noise? And there were so many vocal tracks, it was everyone happening to take a breath at the same time before singing.
Yeah, no joke.
But they were so quiet that you can't notice it individually.
Yeah.
But when you have 100 vocal tracks,
100
it
people
was
going,
suddenly like,
yeah, it sounded like, this crackling sound. I forgot about that. Yeah, so I literally had to go into all of them and chop out all of this, these
trying to figure out
breaths.
was where the heck did it come from?
Right.
Like,
And I kept
No idea
I
what
kept
was
soloing tracks, trying to figure out like what is going on. But again, the issue wasn't solo. It was the
bulk.
The bulk of everything together was making this strange sound. Yeah, that's hilarious. I totally forgot about that.
oh.
But yeah, so songs, again, trying to make some sort of a point here. Songs take on a life of their own, and you're better off letting them do that, is my opinion.
Well, like you said earlier, if you try bending it to another direction, it's not going to work.
Well, it's not always going to work, right? And you end up with a disingenuous product.
Yeah.
You end up, it's, again, I keep hovering back to rock music, because rock music is this very raw, natural thing, as opposed to what you get with some pop and stuff. Not that I have a huge issue with pop music. There's lots of pop out there that I like, but a lot of it is like, very put together by the focus group and all this kind of thing. And you can hear the difference in that versus, say, like a Nirvana record, which is Kurt Cobain walking into a booth, screaming his guts out, and then leaving.
Yeah.
Right? And there's a reason that, I grew up on grunge music. I play in a grunge tribute band with my brother on top of Dali as like a side gig. And there's a reason that grunge blew up the way that it did. Even in comparison to all the rock and fantastic 80s rock and hair metal and all this kind of stuff that came before it. And the reason for that was, at least in my opinion, the rawness and the realness of it. These guys were not going out there going, we're going to play glam band. We're going to, I just watched the Motley Crue documentary, The Dirt,
on Netflix,
which
The
was
Dirt,
great,
yeah.
by the way. I recommend it to everyone out there. I had a blast watching this thing. But it was interesting because they went out there and they're like, we're going to put on these outfits and stuff, which is really cool, and it worked for them. The antithesis of that is what went on with grunge, which was, we're going to go out there and just be us without a filter.
Yeah.
Play what we played in our garage.
Play what we played in our garage, right. And let that speak for itself. And we're lucky enough now, because we're 20 years post all of that we're getting to a point where we have a nice blend of the two attitudes, where you can put on the show while still being very real. And I think that's what we try to do a lot with Dali.
Well, I can't wait to get out and see you live. And I can't wait to listen to some more music. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's listen to a couple more tunes from Dali Van Gogh off of their newest CD, Under Her Spell, right here in the Wolf's Den on CIOE 97.5, the home of East Coast music.
Arrogant and self-assured, like nugged with every word. You got sucked in all involved, never knew how far you'd fall. Ignorance, your claim to fame, all the things done in your name. Far too late, you see the cost, no replacing what got lost. So you got your way, how that turning good, how you feeling? Now they got the way, are you pretty good? How you feeling? Trusting what they have to say, so you let them have their way. You eat just what they prescribe, you will despise. Brought you down into your knees, as they do just what they please. Far too late, you see the cost, now you say your soul is lost. So you got your way, how that turning good, how you feeling? Now they got the way, are you pretty good? How you feeling? So you got your way, how that turning good, how you feeling? Now they got the way, are you pretty good? How you feeling? So close yet so far away, in this world that you have made. So close yet so far away, in this world that you have made. So you got your way, how that turning good, how you feeling? Now they got the way, are you pretty good? How you feeling? So you got your way, how that turning good, how you feeling? Now they got the way, are you pretty good? How you feeling?
Welcome back to the Wolf's Den, ladies and gentlemen. We've got Dali Van Gogh in the studio today with Mr. Isaac Kent and Miss Rochelle Moreau. Now, the two of those folks are just a part of the band, and we've been having a great chat. Now, the one thing we haven't talked about at all today, Isaac, is the videos. Now, the very first one I saw was, I guess it's Getaway.
Yes.
Okay.
The one in the woods?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it and I'm going, oh, ooh. And my wife says to me, what are you doing? I said, I'm watching a video. She said, what kind of a video? I said, I don't know. It looks like the Blair Witch Project, East Coast style. So I couldn't figure out how this guy didn't kill himself or at least knock himself out.
Yeah, I mean, we got to give us a big shout out. So that video was actually shot first person on my phone, believe it or not, by a friend of ours, Ethan Anderson. Ethan's he's kind of like the sixth man in the band. He's helped with songwriting. He's at every show. He was the guitar tech for me at our release show on the weekend. All around great guy. So and he actually fell at one point in that video. If you pay close attention, when
Yes.
the camera points up at the sky,
Yeah.
so he fell and got a concussion right there. Finished shooting the video, then subsequently passed out, and we took him home and went to the hospital and all that kind of thing. So big shout out to Ethan for that.
Nothing
yeah,
like
it's
taking
pretty
one for the
frantic.
band.
No. Ethan's taken a lot for the band over the years. Again, he's a great guy and really helpful with us. So big shout out and thank you to Ethan.
And okay, so we got Getaway.
So that's Getaway. That's the most recent, the second most recent one.
And then the other one that was just funny because you at the beginning of it you don't know where this thing's going.
Right.
Right.
East Coast Witches?
It wasn't going where I thought it was going.
Yes.
I'll tell you. But East Coast Witches.
Yeah.
What an awesome, funny video that
Yeah,
is.
so that one's shot by, it was conceived of. He came up with the whole concept and wrote it, directed it, cut it together. Andrew Hartland, who we're lucky enough now to be working with on a regular basis. He came up with the whole thing, and it was all kind of based around the sequence at the end, which is what you're getting at, the burning sequence, which hopefully people have seen it. That we put that video out yesterday. I think it's already got almost 5,000 hits and climbing since yesterday, so it's blowing up. So we're super happy.
I think 10 of them are mine.
It might be, right, exactly. I'm sure probably 100 of them are the members of the band just going, oh, this is cool. I mean, it's the song was pretty tongue-in-cheek right from the get-go. It's kind of making fun of, like, club culture and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In Atlantic Canada and hookup culture. Hi, Katie Cat. For those out there who well, I guess we're not filming, but we have a kitten or a very pretty cat on our lap here that is just so lovely. So the song was tongue in cheek, so we wanted to do something that was like at least reasonably tongue in cheek for the video. I think funny enough, I think we intended for it to be a little bit more serious than it turned out. But it just the way the acting went, and my brother is playing the lead, the male role in that.
Okay.
And it just ended up so delightfully goofy that we're like, oh no, this is perfect. It's just the right amount of campy. It was very fun to shoot.
It had the right amount of cheesiness.
Right,
to it.
exactly.
It really did. Right.
So if you haven't seen it, we won't spoil too much for you. But you can check it out on our website, DaliVanGoghMusic.com. It's on Facebook.com/Dali Van Gogh. There's links to it on our Instagram, on our YouTube. Just about everywhere that we are on social media, you're going to be able to find some way to get to the video.
And you know what? You're answering one of the questions that's coming up because I really want people to know how they can get a hold of you, where they can, contact you for either a gig or to find out where you're playing.
Yeah, the best place, really, I mean, everything that we have kind of feeds out from our website. So it's DaliVanGoghMusic.com. On there, you've got everything from our upcoming tour dates. We've got a press kit. You've got a full biography, like a long, crazy biography. You've got mini bios on each of the band members. You've got there's a contact page. There's a spot where you can subscribe to our emailing list because we send out e-blasts from time to time, just about big things that we have going on. You'll be able to find our music videos, tour dates.
Now that's something we were going to talk about was your tour dates. So why don't you try to get them in here so people know where to get a hold of you?
We've got some smaller gigs, but I'll talk about the music festivals and stuff that we have coming up.
Please.
I think are the big ones that I hope people come out to. We're playing Music Mountain in August.
Oh, August 21st.
No, 17th.
17th.
We're on the 17th. We'll be on there on a lineup with I think the Motor League.
Yeah, that's the rock festival.
Yes, yeah, Music Mountain Rock Fest.
Festival.
So we're playing that this year. We're playing down at the Warfare Alley.
Oh, nice. Down in Digby.
Down in Digby.
And that's the weekend.
That's the last weekend in August. 31st?
Yeah, that's the long weekend in September.
We are playing the Halifax Metal Fest event here right in HRM.
Nice.
That's not till November. That's a bit of a ways off. We're also waiting to hear back on a whole bunch. Hoping to play Tide Fest, hoping to play Voodoo Rock Fest in Toronto and some other places.
Tide Fest up in Elmsdale.
Yes. Exactly. Well, my drummer's from out that way.
Yeah, well, I think I know one of the guys that runs that.
Oh, do you? Oh, okay. Well, we would love to play. We very much be interested. We've been trying to
I will let him know.
Please let him know. It looks like a really great time. And we've got a huge following of people out there because of my drummer's family and things like that.
Yeah, and again, you talk about people doing good things. Tide Fest is one of those things, right? They're all about everything they get there all goes back to the community.
Yep. Exactly.
And, yeah,
It's a really good thing.
Yeah, I know. One of the gentlemen that's involved with that is a really good friend of mine.
Well, please mention our name to them.
I will indeed.
We'd be more than happy to come out and have some fun with everyone.
Well,
but yeah, so if you're wanting, there's lots more. We're gonna be playing some clubs. We're gonna be hitting Truro next Friday, April 12th at Belly Up Barbecue and Grill.
Belly Up.
We're working on some dates in New Brunswick, and then hopefully in the fall we're in the early stages of doing a cross Canada tour.
Right on.
So we'll have more to talk about that hopefully in a few weeks or a couple of months. But stay tuned for that. But if you're looking for our tour dates, it's DaliVanGoghMusic.com/tour.
Excellent. Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, if I were you, I'd get on over to DaliVanGogh.com and check it all out, because these guys are great. Go check out their videos. You can get a vibe for the energy that they put out when they're on stage. And I got to go there because I got to find out when you're playing, because I got to come to
you got to get out to one of our shows. You too, Jim. It'd be great to have you. We'll put you on the media list and get you guys some good seats.
Excellent. Well, we really, really appreciate that. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we say it all the time here on the Wolf's Den. People keep telling me that live music is dead. I say live music is very much live. It's the audiences that are getting a little dead. You know what? If you can pay $5 every day for Tim Hortons coffee, you can spend $10 to go and see a live event.
Well,
and pay for it.
And this is the thing, is that for those out there listening, you know, you go out to one of these shows, you're gonna have fun. Like, it's not like it's, you know, people make it out like it's some sort of a chore or something, or that, I'm only going to support my buddy. That's bull, right?
Yeah.
You get out there, you have a blast with everyone's partying and having a good time.
Yeah.
Or certainly at our shows, people
some
seem to enjoy themselves. Make some new friends. You know, get out from behind your computer or phone screen.
If people come out to your show and they don't move and they don't get any kind of an effect out of it,
right?
Somebody needs to take their pulse
to
see if, you know, maybe it's Weekend with Bernie, and Bernie's not with us anymore.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because
exactly.
There's not a prayer anybody could sit down and listen to any one of these 12 songs and not get a toe, a finger, a foot, something moving.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
You know, I want to thank you guys very, very much for stopping by today.
No problem, anytime.
And it's been a real pleasure to meet you. And again, we really want to get out and see you when you're playing live here in the area. And ladies and gentlemen, support local music. Get out and see Under Her Spell from Dali Van Gogh. Listen, any one of these songs is worth the price of admission. Okay, if it's $5, it's $5. So what? Who cares? Like I said, you can spend that at Tim Hortons in a day.
Well, your drink when you come to the show is going to cost more than that.
Yeah, you know. So I mean, so support local music. Get out there and keep the scene alive. Wouldn't you say, Jimbo?
I'd say keep it alive.
Keep her alive, baby. And you know what we always say here on the Wolf's Den, ladies and gentlemen? Please, 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 be nice. Be kind to one another. And always, always, always hug the ones you love.
East Coast living, ain't it the life? Rip those taps till they run dry. You better like doing something freaky tonight. Widget, chicken, ginger, and rye. East Coast witches under their spell. They'll pick you up and they'll drag you to hell. East Coast witches get on the level. I'll touch my diamonds like a tour with the devil. In the city tonight, each shown by a known street light. Back inside this old greasy club, like at the last, no time for love. East Coast witches under the spell. one.